Manasys Jazz makes it very simple to make your mainframe data available to apps, web pages and Windows. Let's demonstrate. Our first example is like a Hello World program. We'll enter our name and it will respond with the time from our mainframe. The program won't access the database and we won't care about security, so it can't get any simpler. We start by creating a new program, choosing the web service option. We simply give the program name, get time, and let Jazz give defaults for everything else. We are next asked to define the input and output message formats. We add the name and result fields. We save this definition. Jazz then shows us the program that it's generated so far. We replace the comments with our actual logic. It only takes one line. We're done. Click Process, and Jazz takes over. It creates the WSDL and binding files so that external programs can access the web service. It creates COBOL and submits it to compile. We only need to tell Kix that this program exists and do a pipeline scan, and we're ready to run it. To test our web service, we've added a test function to a Jazz software page. A name is passed across the internet to the mainframe in Dallas, our web service responds, and the result is returned. Now let's get real with the web service providing vSAM data. As before, we start by creating a program with new web services. This time we include a file name. We're using the file cusdef that we used in earlier videos about batch programming and classical Kix. We tell Jazz that we want up to 3 records at a time from this file. We click Finish, and Jazz creates the container definition for us. It includes definitions for a control record, input message, and output message. The input record is generated with the record keys and a field to control record skipping. The output message contains a message field, a couple of control fields, and a table for 3 records. We don't have to change anything. Click Exit to move on. Next, we see the program that Jazz has written for us. Like the classical Kix program in video 3, at its heart are related accept and get statements. Respond is used with endGet to set the output control fields and move as many cusdef records as possible into the output message. Click Process, and Jazz generates COBOL and submits the job to create the program and all the necessary web service objects. Here is our program being invoked from a test page on the Jazz software website. Account 18 returns a record. There is no record for account 23, so a dummy record with initialized values is returned. We can omit a count and look up records by name. Appthorpe corresponds to 5 records, so the first 3 are returned. We can click Get From to read more or go back. That was pretty easy. The hardest part was writing the .NET demonstration code. Updating is just as easy. We just check Update, and Jazz looks after everything. Firstly, the input message now includes a function code and all the fields that we may want to update. Both input and output messages contain viewState used for Kix-style record locking. Here is the program logic. Accept function ensures that only valid codes are accepted. Others are reported and the program terminated. For an inquiry, get reads the record without locking it. The option Save Sum causes a checksum hash to be calculated and saved in the viewState field. For updating, get reads and locks the record and the checksum is recalculated. If the record has changed, the recalculated checksum will be different to the previous value, and the update will be rejected with a message. This is the same very efficient logic using classical Kix programs, except that we're saving and comparing an encrypted hash code rather than comparing the actual record in COM area. Click Process, and the program will be generated and compiled, and all the necessary web service objects created so that it can be invoked from Windows, a web page, or a mobile app. Here is our program running from a test web page. We can retrieve a record and update it. However, if some other process has changed the record since our inquiry, the update will be rejected. Let's review what we've just done. We generated a program by entering 2 text boxes and 2 checkboxes, and letting everything else default. Jazz then defined message formats, turning the 13-line custf definition into 36 lines of container definition. It then defined the program logic, 17 Jazz statements. Process turned this into 887 lines of COBOL, which was compiled and the WSDL and binding objects created. With a couple of Kix commands, we then had a web service provider program that could read and update vSAM data. However you measure it, this is a huge productivity gain compared with any other way of creating such a program. For more information on developing web service provider programs, including writing client-side web pages and writing programs that access more than one file, click here. To learn how to request web services from a Jazz program, click here. And for more information or to contact us, click one of the links here. Thank you for watching.